Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Chrissy B Show. Now, tonight's program is going to be a continuation of the one we started last Wednesday, which was 19 types of toxic people to kick out of your life. Now, we've all come across toxic people in one way or another, whether that's at school, whether it's relationships, whether it's people at work, and they can be really, really bad for you. So first of all, how do you recognize them? How do you stop them from making you toxic as well? And what do you do if you really want to get them out of your life? What can you actually do to get rid of them? So last week we were speaking to a psychologist, Dr. Catherine Oyivo, and also we had two Big Brother stars on who, of course, were Dexter and Charlie Travers, and they were giving us their opinion. So we're going to be looking back at what they had to say about the topic as well. But first of all, we're going to have some news with one of our brand new newsreaders, and you may have seen her before, and that's Excel. She's back with us. Hello, Excel.
Hello.
It's so nice to see you here again. We missed you.
Oh, well, I missed you too. I'm happy to be here again.
So it's really, really good. Now, Excel, if you don't know, she used to be with us. She used to do some filming with us a few months ago, wasn't it? And now she's come back as our newsreader every Friday. So every Friday, is it Friday today?
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday. Oh my gosh, I'm getting my days mixed up. Every Wednesday. So we're going to be doing the news first of all.
Yeah.
And then actually we had a bit of an issue because we don't have one of our guests today to discuss toxic people. But Excel has graciously said that she will stay on the show with me today and talk about toxic people. And I would love to hear your opinions as well. So do give us a call on 020 7686 6300. Have you had any experiences with toxic people? What happened? And how did you manage to get rid of them? That's 020 7686 6300. You can also email Chris at chrissybshow.tv, and you can also tweet at Chrissy B Show or Facebook, The Chrissy B Show. That's all the details. It's your show too. So please feel free to call in and let us know your opinion as well. So Excel, what you have in the news for us?
Well, I thought I'd start things off a bit scarily by talking about some reptile incidents that people have had.
Oh gosh, not snakes coming up the toilet and
well,
things like that,
not too scary. I thought I'd make my debut not too scary, so I don't frighten everyone off. But we all know Florida is the south of America, south of the USA, and that area is quite prone to having a lot of crocodiles and alligators or whatever it is. And apparently, an alligator made an appearance at a Walmart supermarket.
Oh my god! And
it was wandering near the front doors. I think, fortunately, it didn't go into the store, but it was 6 foot long.
Oh my god! And
it stopped at the entrance of the store, causing the automatic doors to open and close.
Oh my goodness! What would you do if you saw that?
Well, I think those doors should have picked up that the thing coming towards the door is not human. Well,
they surely had security cameras somewhere.
Well, indeed, if only the doors were that clever. But one of the customers said they were just inside picking up a few things for the following day, and someone inside said, "There's an alligator at the door." How very casual. But of course, people came out, and you know how people like, especially in this modern age, I can just imagine people were busy filming or something, trying to tweet, "Oh, there's an alligator in Walmart." But the animal was found, and then it was kept there was a retention pond apparently near the store, so they put it in there. So I suppose the authorities or some animal rescue place will then move it from there to maybe a zoo or something, or put it back in the wild.
That's so dangerous.
But yeah. And another thing as well, actually, not long ago, another man called Guy, he actually spent an entire night in a room in a lodge in Zimbabwe, lying above a crocodile under his bed.
Oh no!
All night.
Oh my god! Obviously, he didn't know.
And he didn't know.
Oh no!
And he literally, as you do, you get out of bed, if you sit down on the edge of the bed,
reach for your slippers under the bed.
Exactly. You kind of think, oh, lovely morning, right? Time to get up. And he didn't realize until when the housemaid actually came into the room to clean it. And she looked under the bed. Ah, what's that? And that's how he knew. So he literally.
Funny story. I screamed my head off when I found a cockroach in a drawer on holiday once. Don't know what I would have done if I had found an alligator under my bed.
I mean, it could have, because at the end of the day, those animals have muscular, massive jaws. Yeah. He could have snapped his feet off. Oh more than his feet, probably. But it literally got found out just by the housekeeper, and then they had to tug it out. There was this special, apparently you have to kind of tie the jaws up, because if not, it can really snap and bite people's limbs off and all sorts. So they had to then isolate the jaw and tie it up and then
so was he on holiday? Sorry, was he on holiday?
It was in a lodge. Yeah, I think he lives there. I think it's somebody who runs the place. And
I was going to say, because I went on safari to Kenya, and we were sort of in lodges and stuff all the time, and like
this was
sort of close to
animals. This was a similar place.
Oh,
yeah, this was because now that's what he's saying here, that everybody who now he says the guy who it happened to, he said, I remember thinking, goodness gracious, that's one for the books. And then he said, I'm pretty sure that everyone now checks under their bed before going to sleep. In case there's a crocodile under there, yeah.
Well, glad to say we don't have that problem here in the UK. There aren't any, hopefully, crocodiles under our beds.
Oh,
Welsh job for us, Excel.
Well, I actually found out something, a bit of a, feel-good news here. There was a, a waitress picked up the lunch bill of 2 National Guard soldiers that had come into the cafe where she was, and they were complaining basically about how they hadn't been paid. They're part of the army, part of the National Guard, and they were complaining about how things were expensive and how the government basically hasn't really, given them enough benefits and stuff. And so the waitress overheard their conversation. And because of this, she was the waitress was a 22-year-old single mother herself. And she, overhearing their conversation, just basically said, about how the government, everything, they're not getting paid, etc. So instead of giving them the check for their meal, she actually gave them a note that said, thanks to the government shutdown, the people like you that protect this country are not getting paid. However, I still am. Lunch is on me. Aww. Thank you for serving, ladies, and have a good day.
Aww.
The bill was $27.75. Okay, it's not a lot, but I think it was nice, absolutely fabulous what she did.
That was nice of her.
However, Ellen DeGeneres, she's another talk show host. We shall never mention her name again on this show. She actually... She's not as good as you, Chrissy B, don't worry. Ellen DeGeneres then learned about this act, and so she actually got these people to come on the show about, based on what she had done. The National Guard's Facebook page for that area actually posted her picture on their page to sort of thank her for what she'd done. And so because Ellen found out about this, she actually ended up giving the woman back her $27 as well as a check for $10,000 and a 50-inch television. Oh,
that's nice.
I'm sorry, I'm beginning to think I want to be that waitress. But anyway, but then of course the lady's name was Miss Hoydal, and she was quite obviously taken by this surprise.
Yeah, see, people don't know what's actually going to turn out for them once they're, because when you show kindness to people, it does come back to you.
Definitely.
And obviously the opposite as well. If you're not very kind to people, that's also going to come back to you one way or another. So we've had a lot of these kind of stories where it just goes to show that people do appreciate acts of kindness.
Exactly.
And if they can, they will do something back for you. Not that, people doing that to get something back, because I'm sure she wasn't.
I'm sure that was the last thing
she wasn't expecting anything, and it didn't even really come from the people that she actually bought the meal for. It came from somewhere else. So that's food for thought, that is. So you're going to stay with us, because after the break we will continuing our topic about toxic friends. We're going to quickly recap the type of toxic people there are, the ones that we did already, and also continue with the rest of them as well. So do join us after this, and don't forget, if you'd like to give us a call to give your opinion as well, it's 020-7686-6300. Join us after this. Welcome back to the show, where we are speaking about 19 types of toxic people that you really need to kick out of your life, because if you don't, they're going to end up, what do you say, toxifying you? That's not a word, is it?
Intoxifying you, I suppose.
Intoxifying.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, if you guys know the right word.
Intoxicating.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a bad thing, intoxicating, does it?
Well, when you're intoxicated, you're not really, you lose
inhibitions.
inhibitions.
In one sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, you know what I mean. You can say contaminate. Anyway, something like that. So we spoke about some last week. So we're going to quickly recap in case you missed the show last week. So we spoke first of all about the office gossip. Now this is a very toxic person, and like I said last week, everyone sort of likes to hear sort of the latest gossip that's going on. It's pleasing to the ears, isn't it? You like to hear stuff that's going on, and if someone says to you, guess what, immediately like, oh my god, what happened? You just want to know, because
I think we all have a professional front at work, isn't it? So you don't really know personal stuff, so whoever brings such gossip is like juicy.
Yeah, it's juicy. Yeah. However, it's also very dangerous because if you are known as the kind of person that gossips or listens to gossip, you will get a bad reputation, not only with your work colleagues, but also with your bosses. So me personally, I wouldn't employ anyone or promote anyone if I knew they were a gossip and they were spreading things, because the moment there's something not so good going on in a company, they would just have a field day. So that was one type of toxic person that you definitely do not need in your life. So we're going to be speaking afterwards how you can actually get rid of them, because believe it or not, toxic people are very, very difficult to get rid of, unfortunately. However, just have to say this, Excel, we said this with Dr. Catherine last week as well. It's not that we're saying that you shouldn't give toxic people a chance, because I'm a firm believer that people can change, that you know, they can develop, they can change their character. And if you're watching and you identify that you are one of these people that we're speaking about, you can change as well. You can always be a different person. And I think, to be honest, all of us have a little bit of that kind of toxic thing in us. If we're not careful, it can overtake things, couldn't it? All right, so let's see. The other one that we spoke about was the ex who constantly calls for sex. Now, if this person is an ex and they are calling you for sex, they are just using you. And I think a lot of people know that, but for some reason they just keep going there. Yeah,
because I think it's also come in this modern day and age as well. It's sort of like friends with benefits, and it's not a big deal. At least something, you know, there's something still going on, and it's not really seen as a problem, really, unfortunately, because some people will see it as, I'm still getting affection.
Yeah, and also maybe there's a little hope that if you weren't, for example, if your ex that's calling you for sex, and you still like them, or you're still hoping that
will bring you back together,
they'll get back together, then it's not going to happen, darling. It's just move on. It's stopping you from finding the right person for you, someone that's going to respect you and not just call you when they fancy a bit of nookie, basically. All right, now the other one is the misery guts we spoke about as well. Now, the misery guts is a bit of a... you have to see with this one, because there obviously are friends or people around you that they are going through a tough time, but you can't stay and be friends and be close to someone because you feel guilty, because that person will end up dragging you down. So we were saying last week, like if, for example, you've tried to help the person, you said, you suggested help for them, or maybe like counselling or something like that, and you've tried your best, but they don't want the help, because some people just like to complain, don't they? They like the self-pity and the tension.
Misery loves company. And so the more people you tell about how miserable your life is, it's almost like it's feeding into that sort of, oh, woe is me, I'm just doomed. And I think, in a way, you might want to offer help and say you want to listen to this person, but it can also be difficult in the sense of it's not helping, actually, because this person is just listening to you moan, you know, woe is me, but that doesn't actually change anything. And so they would just sort of like feed off, someone's listening to me telling my woes, and so I'll keep telling the story.
Which will eventually bring you down.
Exactly.
Don't need that. The other one we spoke about was the family member that's always trying to fix your life. So that's the auntie that's, do you know one of those?
Oh my goodness me. When are you going to get married? When are you going to have children? Oh, look, your cousin so-and-so has done so-and-so. When are you going to do so-and-so?
You don't need those people. And obviously there's well-meaning relatives. But if it's a relative, for example, that's constantly trying to fix your life, trying to basically make the decisions for you, that's what the issue is here. Because you will not be able to make your own decisions. Before you know it, they've taken over your life, and you're second-guessing everything that you're trying to, any decision that you're trying to make, you're second-guessing yourself because of this type of relative. So you definitely don't need this person.
And I think another thing as well about that is that, like you said, they may very well have a well-meaning, you know, sort of like, okay, you need to do well for yourself, etc. But I think the poisonous bit can come into it when you're being compared.
Yeah.
Oh, look at your sister, look at your cousin. That's I think that's when it becomes a bit like, why can't you be like them? And then it makes you feel as if...
insecure.
Exactly.
Inferior.
Exactly. And I remember a quote, actually, just to quickly say, I think it was Albert Einstein who said, if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its life thinking it's worthless, basically, you know. So just because I can't do one thing, or I can't do this particular thing like the other person can, doesn't mean I don't have my good points. And I think that's where...
That's a very good quote. Thank you for that, Excel.
You're very welcome.
And the next one was the frenemy. Now, we've all had one of those, the person that pretends to be your friend, but really they are stabbing you in the back, they're jealous of you, thank you, Excel. They don't like you, and they just want to see you down. Now, we've all had them, and I think deep down we probably realise that they are like that, but for some reason we hang around with them. Maybe they're a popular person and everyone likes them, so you feel good around that person. You think, wow, she or he's my friend.
Yep.
You really don't need this person in your life, because they will end up hurting you. Now, the other one we spoke about, let's first of all, we did speak to the Big Brother stars from last week, Dexter and Charlie, about this one. Let's see what they had to say about the old friend. This one's not so obvious, because I kind of didn't get this one when I read it first, but it's talking about old friends. Sometimes they can be toxic, because if you don't have any, you're sort of always talking about the past, and if you don't have any new memories to build together, or new things, new goals, they can actually be quite bad for you. So I mean, I haven't really kept much in touch with like very old friends, like I haven't kept in touch with anyone from school. The only person I kept in touch with from uni was my husband, obviously, because I had to, because we got married. But that's all really. Have you guys kept in touch with old friends from?
Yeah, I've kept in touch with quite a few, but I'm starting to realise I'm starting to filter them out actually more, because a bit like what you said, I realised that actually I was staying friends with them for the sake of it, because of the history, because of the connection. You kind of feel a little bit of loyalty towards someone because of obviously the longevity. Actually, when you sort of break down the situation, you think, I'm not actually their kind of person anymore, and vice versa, and we're really not actually very close. We're not that in common, and then you kind of go through a phase of, do I even need to be friends anymore? And then eventually you kind of go, actually, it's about creating new memories and people that are, you know, in the now and that are good friends now.
Plus, they can keep you stuck in the past, because if, for example, you're with those friends when you had this awful boyfriend, for example, or girlfriend, and then you're just talking about the same old stuff
living
that you
completely in the
went
past,
past already, it could be really bad for you as well. Okay, so that's the old friend, not great for you. Now we have a caller on the line as well. Let's see if they have an experience with a toxic person. Good evening.
Good evening, Chrissy.
Oh, hello, someone's nice and bubbly today. How are
Hi,
you?
Exo. I'm good.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
I love this show.
Oh, thank you. We love it too.
Yes.
So tell us, have you ever had any experience with a toxic person in your life?
Yes, I have actually. I had some toxic friends, and I met this girl through a friend, and I thought, oh, she's lovely. She was really friendly and bubbly.
They normally start off nice.
And she introduced me to her friends, so we were all friends, and it was one of those things that we would meet up. She would always call me to go out. We'd meet up. I'd go to her house, but then sometimes she would call me and she'd be like, oh, do you have £20 to borrow? Do you have money, or do you have change? But it wasn't like she was using me for money. So, well, it didn't seem that way. So it was just like, okay, she's my friend. We're all friends.
Yeah.
We always meet up and hang out. And then it was just one time I realized that she wasn't actually the friend that I thought that she was, because when I was driving, I would pick them up and we'd all go out. But then there was one time when we went to a dinner, and on our way back, they wanted to go clubbing. And I was like, oh, no, I just want to go home. You know, I don't want to, you know, go clubbing, and I don't want to do things like that. So just thought we was going to go for dinner. And then, you know, they were all arguing with me, saying, why aren't I coming with them? This and that. They wanted me to wait for them and drop them home. And then
so you were like their taxi for the...
Yeah, they could. I don't know why.
Designated driver.
Designated driver, yeah, as Excel says.
Yeah, so I guess they were just... So when I said, no, I'm not, I'm just going to go home. And they were all arguing with me. They were really angry. So when they left, it was like I was really bad. And during that time, I had picked them all up. There was 4 of us, so I picked them up from the houses.
So did you feel like you were just being used then?
Yeah.
After
so
that kind of was your wake-up call?
Yeah, because I realised that a lot of the times, when I asked for things, she wouldn't give it to me.
Yeah.
So if I was just not as in, you know, she was obliged to help me or anything.
Did you not sort of see the signs before, or was that sort of that incident that happened there the kind of confirmation?
Yeah, that incident was confirmation.
So you kind of knew.
Yeah, it was like it was at the back of my mind. Yeah. So I was just.
So that's the thing with toxic people. They really kind of make you think that they care. Then as soon as something happens that doesn't go their way, that's when you know about it, and then you start thinking, oh, I remember. You start remembering all the little things that they've done or little things that they've said, and then you feel like such a fool. But it's happened to all of us.
Because it starts slowly. They can't come and say, I'm here to use you. You know, they don't hand you a CV to say that, isn't it? So those little things they inject in.
That's right.
Bit by bit. But then at the point where you realize, you think, The light bulb
Has it made you wiser now to look out for
A lot
things?
wiser. So now I'm careful because I'm just that kind of person. I'm nice. I'm friendly.
You sound
I
friendly.
don't. Oh, thank you.
All right, thank you so much for your call.
Oh, thank you, Chrissy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so if you want to give your opinion, if you have had a toxic person in your life, do tell us about what happened and how did you get rid of them, and or are they still in your life maybe? Give us a call on 020 7686 6300. Join us after this. Okay, welcome back, and we're continuing our topic about toxic people that you really don't need in your life because they will bring you down. Now, I'm going to put these three together because I think they are quite similar. These are the schemer, the bad influence, and the one that's always getting into trouble. So you have those kind of people, normally friends or possibly a partner that let's start with a friend first of all. Maybe that friend that's always saying to you, oh, you know, can you cover my back? Can you tell my boyfriend I'm staying at yours tonight? Probably, you know, they're getting up to no good. Or the one that's trying these quick fix schemes and always trying to drag you in. And then obviously the people that are bad influence, the ones that are into maybe petty crime or worse, and they're always trying to influence you in a wrong way. These kind of people, and you feel bad. If for example, you're the type, that person that enjoys all that stuff, that's a whole different kettle of fish and a different show, I think. But if it's something that makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel awkward, makes you feel like you're going against your principles, against your values, that is not a good thing because that will drag you down.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's go now to one that we discussed with Dexter and Charlie last week, and that's about Facebook friends. Let's see what they had to say about that. I know, guys, everyone loves Facebook, don't they? Maybe this is not the right one to bring up because, you know, we've got people all over Facebook and Twitter with me at the moment. But like all those Facebook friends, people that aren't really your friends, you really need to have loads of them. Obviously, if you're in the public eye, I think it's a bit different. But everyday people, why would you need all those friends on Facebook that are just kind of not real when you really need someone? If you feel like you've got people around you, but then when you really need someone, when you're in trouble, it's like they're not there for you.
Yeah. Facebook's really dangerous, actually. Very dangerous. Because people get obsessed by it, and then you start to get this. I had it years ago when I started to get obsessed by looking what other people are doing. You get this missing out syndrome, and it's unfortunately this generation in our society and day and age is very much about the social network and media. I think it could be quite detrimental. Again, unless you're using it for business or public eye, then I don't think it's too good for someone.
And I think a lot of young people these days as well, it is sort of about how many Facebook friends you've got, how many Twitter followers you've got. And I think if in school, I know as well, because there was always that one guy who only had like 5 Facebook friends, and then all of his mates had like 3,000.
Yeah, oh yeah, it makes you feel bad.
And it's like, oh. So,
we could say mine are genuine. I've got 5 genuine friends. Okay, so have you got a lot of Facebook friends, Excel?
Trust me, I don't, because I think there's some people who just see you and they want to add you, but they have no physical contact with you, but they just want to add you on Facebook. I have to confess this now. So if you are my friend on Facebook and you've been unfriended, this is probably the reason why. There are people who've added me as friends, but when we see each other physically, don't say a word to me.
Oh, well, there you go. It's just
so I'm thinking, why did you add me? So we can share photos and like each other's faces? No, we need to talk. So if I've unfriended you recently, that's a really good thing. The reason
actually,
why.
I did recently go through my whole Facebook account and delete people that I didn't actually know. But then with the show, sometimes people add me, and then
I mean, that's different. You're a celebrity, Chrissy. That's different.
But I feel bad, but then I can't keep up with everyone. It's too much. All right, let's look at the next one as well. The broke buddy. Let's take a look at what Dexter and Charlie had to say about this type of toxic person. This one, I think we've also all had one of these. I had one of these when I was at uni. The broke friend, the one that never has any money. Now, I am all for helping out a friend that, you know, is going through a bit of a hard time. But if they constantly don't have money, because I had this one friend and she just never had money. And because I always wanted to go out and about and go to different places, I always ended up paying for her. But it was literally all the time. And I got to a point where I thought, you know what, this girl's just using me. I thought she was a really good friend at first, but then I started to see, like you said, you know, you sort of fall for it and you think you see the best in everyone. So I thought, oh, she's having a hard time.
All comes out in the end.
Her parents might not be as generous as mine, but she was getting a grant as well. And back then we didn't have to pay, things back. We just used to get our education paid for, plus we used to get grants. So she got the same grant as I did, and yet she was always broke. So if you find that it's constant, it's like going on for too long, then that person is probably just using you for your dosh, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Any experiences there, guys?
Yeah, also you can have, some people have, you know, I know friends that have got no money whatsoever, like they really don't make much money and they're sort of a minimum wage. And sometimes I find they're the most generous, like they're warm and loving. And I've got some friends, won't mention their names, but they even treat me, or they always give gifts at birthdays, and they do what they can. And then,
even though you know that they don't have much, but that means even more.
You can have someone with loads of money that actually is very, very stingy, and that's probably why they've got loads of money. But
Yeah, I've had, you know, I was stupid and dated some girls that were just around for the cash, and they wouldn't even buy you a cup of coffee. Yeah. And you know, they're actually going mad if you ask them to buy you a cup of coffee.
I don't know how people like that, honestly, I can't.
And then it's always take.
Yeah.
And then you think, hang on, am I in a relationship or am I an ATM?
Or am I an ATM? Indeed. Sometimes you feel like an ATM, don't you? Let's see what this next caller has to say as well. Good evening.
Hello, it's Emmanuel here, Chrissy. I'm really loving the show tonight.
Oh, thank you. So can you relate to this topic then? Have you ever had any toxic people in your life?
I can. Firstly, I'd like to say, before the program, I didn't think that I had a lot of toxic friends, but as you've kept on, explaining, I've actually discovered I've had many.
Oh, really?
Yes. One in particular that stands out is, the buddy that's around for the cash.
All right.
A few years back, I had a close, tight group of friends. We used to, go out a lot. We like to try different restaurants, and I found this friend never had money. Of course, as a good friend, I felt a need of helping him, and I was always giving him money, always. But the thing is, he was just sucking money away from me, and he would never help me out. He got to a point where my other friends as well, started noticing and started speaking to him about it in front of me, like, so and so. Why do you every time we go out? Why don't you ever have money? Why is it, Emmanuel? Why does he always have to give you money? Is that? Yeah. So I've only just thought about it now that you mentioned it. So I'm going to keep a lookout really, because I just noticed it today, and how many times probably I've been tricked. By this.
Well, you sound like a really generous guy, which is a great thing. But at the same time, I think we all have to keep our eyes sort of open just to make sure that people aren't using us. I think it's great to buy your friends coffees and treat them to restaurants, especially if they're having a hard time financially. Yeah. But if you see that person maybe has money and they're never willing to spend on you or do anything for you, and they're really stingy, that's just a whole different kettle of fish, isn't it? So
it's true. It's like all the time, so definitely it was toxic.
Are you still friends with this person?
No.
I wonder why.
Well, you'd be broke by now if you still were, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks very much for your call.
All right, take care.
Thank you. See you. All right. So let's now. Those were the ones that we spoke about on the show last week. So these were the ones that we didn't actually get to cover. The office flirt. Now people say, there's no harm in a bit of flirting. However, if you are in a relationship or you are married, and then there's this person that's always hanging around you and flirting and saying how gorgeous or how handsome you are, this person is very, very toxic. And you yourself might say, I would never go there. I would never cheat on my partner. I wouldn't even dream of ever doing anything. But because you like the attention, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel confident about yourself. It's like you let it go on. Now, most people, well, not most, I say many people that have affairs end up saying, I never ever thought I would do something like that, because of people like this. And
I think it goes to show the state of that person's relationship. If it's somebody there are people who say, oh, we met each other at work, if it's leading up to something, say, oh, you found somebody you like at work, that's a different issue. But if you're in a relationship already and you allow someone to sort of, if you like, whisk you away because of the promise of what's greener on the other side that you don't have in yours, that just goes to show the state of that person's relationship. And I think it's down to the person really asking themselves, what is this person offering? What is this flirt offering you that you don't have in your relationship? I think
And address that.
exactly, and I think it's a chance for you to address that as opposed to go away with this person who is promising you wonderfulness that your partner at home isn't.
Yeah, definitely someone toxic. Get rid of them, and we'll tell you how later. Now, the snob. Another toxic person is the snob. Now, this person makes you feel bad about your clothes, makes you feel bad about your car, where you go on holiday. They've always got a better car than you. They've got better clothes. They've gone to a better place than you, and they just make you feel like rubbish, basically. Have you had experience with that? You're nodding your head away. What's going on? What happens?
Oh yes, I've had that, seriously. I think they tend to want to show you that they are above you, and they do it, I mean, there are people who will kind of say, oh, I've got this. I mean, if you have something good, you want to share it with your friends, etc., and say, guess what, this is what worked out for me. But when someone makes a point of belittling you, I think that's where it's definitely toxic, because again, what we talked about earlier about comparing you to other people, they themselves are telling you that, well, you're not as good as me, so sorry, I can't be seen with you, or you don't shop in that shop, or you don't wear these clothes, or you don't do that, so sorry, I'm not, and I think it can happen, not necessarily always, but it can happen if, say, the person is, say, I'm the cleaner in the office and you're the manager. You kind of, some people tend to say, well, my status, you see, I can't talk to you. And I think it's quite, it's very...
You don't need this person in your life. They will just make you feel bad. And actually, many of these people that do this are quite insecure about themselves. That's why they feel the need to do that to other people. Then we have, now this one's the scary one, the single white female person, the one that likes you so much or is so jealous that they want to be exactly like you. So they will, if you wear an outfit, for example, they will buy the same outfit. They will try to copy the way you walk. They will try to get the same things as you. They just love everything about you. Or they think your boyfriend or your girlfriend is absolutely amazing. Big one to watch, by the way, because they will try and steal your life. This kind of person actually tries to steal what you have. So it could be a job, it could be your boyfriend, your girlfriend. So this person is definitely toxic. I mean, I think it's great to admire your friends, to admire your co-workers. Wonderful, you find something in them, you think, oh yeah, that's nice. I'd like, for example, that kind of characteristic in me as well. Or, oh, that's a nice dress, that's giving me an idea for something. It's great, you give people compliments, but you don't try and be them. That is really not good.
I think when you try to completely imitate someone down to what they're wearing and how they look, it is very scary. For me, I kind of put that on the same level as a stalker. Because why would you want to look like me for? Why? I'm not a twin.
Yeah.
So just, and I think it's actually something that, I think there's also another expression that imitation is, it's sort of like a form of flattery. You might feel like, oh, this person is, oh wow, I must make a good impression on them. But I think it's really not.
There's a limit,
There is a limit. I like your top, where'd you get it from? Maybe I get a different color of it, but that's it. I'm not going to copy your outfit, and it's just,
exactly.
It's scary.
So we have a few more kinds of toxic people to get through, and we will do so after this break. Welcome back, and we are going to speak about 2 more toxic people. There were a couple of others, but I think we kind of covered them in some of the other examples we were giving. So this one, the backhander. Now this person, for example, appears to be giving you a compliment, but they're also putting you down at the same time. So it's comments like, your hair looks great for once. Oh, you managed to do, oh, your outfit's really nice. I never thought you could put something like that together. So they're kind of saying supposedly something nice to you, but they are also saying something else.
And I think I mean, we all joke about these sort of things. For example, even the comment like, oh, you scrub up well. Between friends, yeah, well.
Meaning you don't look great.
Exactly.
Normally.
I mean, between friends, okay, all right, But when someone says to you, you scrub up well, it's like, seriously? Like, you expect me? I think it's how it's said, probably, or maybe the relationship between the people, how you... If I say to you, well, I don't know, that hair, But if you were to make all the effort you're making, and someone comes to you, I don't know about that, I don't know about that, that outfit, are you sure? I think it's the way it's said as well. You can say, for example, okay, next time maybe try the outfit with a belt or something, or you can give...
See, someone that's nice and a friend or whatever, they will try and help you don't know, change something, look better, but the toxic person
would just
put you down and that's it, and then make you feel badly about yourself.
What were you
that's
thinking
it.
and all
now,
that?
I'm all for example, friends saying, telling you the truth, obviously, because that is a good friend, and they're hard to come by, aren't they? Where someone will say, look, you don't look great today, or that outfit is hideous on you. Things like that, that's fine, but because you trust the person, you can take that, and they're not putting you down, they're genuinely trying to help you. But where it's a person that's sort of, like we just said, giving you a compliment and putting it at the same time,
really,
that's not a good person to have around you. Then we have the bitter Betty we've got here. Now, everything for this person is negative. They always see things, it's like they've got negative glasses on. And not just, they could be complaining and being negative about themselves, but I think sometimes even worse than that, they try to kind of turn you against everyone as well. So, oh, did you see the way she was looking at you? Oh, I heard him talking about you. Maybe they weren't even saying anything, but they are trying to score points almost with you.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you probably had nothing in your head about these other people. And now that this person's coming to you and saying, oh, did you hear what they said? Or I heard she doesn't like you. All of a sudden, you start looking at those people differently. And you start feeling negativity towards them, and that means your relationship with those people starts to change if you had a relationship with them. So you start behaving differently. And then when things start to go wrong between you and these people that supposedly said something about you, then you're like, it kind of confirms what that person was saying to you.
Exactly.
So it's so easy, it's such an easy trap to fall into. That you have to be really careful.
It's like planting a seed, really, isn't it? Because once you've said to someone, "Oh, did you see the way she looked at you?" And you say, "Oh no, I didn't. What was that?" You say, "No, she just gave you this."
She just looked at you up and down.
Yeah, and then that seed's been planted, and like you said, by the time things then happen later on, oh, my friend was right, because they've already planted that seed, and then once it's grown and it's blossoming beautifully, and all of these, paranoid ideas or whatever you're having about this person, you kind of think, oh yeah, you read ulterior, meaning, different meanings into a simple act. If someone says, "Oh, would you like some water?" What are you trying to say? I can't get my own.
Exactly.
And you just think,
what happened?
I just offered you some water,
Do you know, I had an experience once where someone, I was going to be working with this woman, and someone said to me, "Listen, be careful of her. She's trouble." And I was like, but I'm always the kind of person, I want to get to know the person first. And the thing is, as I got to know her, she was so lovely. She had an issue, for example, of sometimes the way she used to speak was a bit aggressive, and that's one of the things I was warned about her. But then when she explained to me her upbringing, she grew up with just boys in the house. They were just brothers, and they were kind of very rough with her, play fighting. So she kind of got that kind of manly behavior. And so she was quite aggressive, but she was such a sweet person. And that was a big lesson for me. And I never, ever listen to what people say, like, oh, watch that person. I always get to know the person. I want to make my own assumption, or I want to get to know the person for myself before I decide if this person's trouble or not. Because so that's just something to be aware of.
But another thing as well, even that other one, the person who's telling you watch out for them, maybe they did something that one that is now being blacklisted, so maybe told them off about, or challenged them on, and said, I don't like her because, whoever it is that is now warning you about this other person is obviously going by their experience. So I think it's so when someone tends to say to me, "Oh, watch out for this," and "Oh, that I know, I heard that person is like that," or "I think that person's like that." "Oh, watch out for that." I'm thinking, okay, I'll bear that in mind. Thank you, but I'll find out for myself.
I'll make my own decisions. Thank you very much. Okay, so now what do you do then? Maybe you've identified one of these people that's in your life. How do you actually get rid of them? And like I said at the beginning, I'm all for giving people opportunities. If you've tried to help them, do try to help them wherever you can. But if you are finding it difficult, what can you do? Like, for example, if that person just won't leave. But before we go into this, let's just take this final call. I think we've got time for one more. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello, what's your name?
I'm a regular viewer of the show.
Oh, hello.
I love watching it.
Great. What did you have to say about this topic?
Well, I had a toxic friend when I was at uni. She used to copy everything that I did.
Oh, gosh.
And she'd go everywhere and like wear the same things as I would wear and everything. And I thought, I didn't really notice it at first, but I also thought that, and then friends would start pointing it out to me. And then I thought it was quite a nice compliment that she liked the things that I did and everything. And then it got to the point where she really kept taking an interest in this guy that I was going out with at the time. And she kept saying, oh, let me be with you both and let's go out together. And I thought it was quite a compliment. And I thought, oh, I'm glad that my friends get along with my boyfriend at the time. And I thought, oh, it's nice, you know. And then it started getting a bit too much. But I didn't really notice it because I'm quite a nice person and I would never think that my friends would sort of go that way with someone that I'm going out with. And then, as you can tell, you probably know the way it went. She basically started going out with him behind my back.
No. Oh,
and
it
was really upsetting because she was one of my good friends and we lived together as well. And so I had to get rid of her. I had to move out of the house, and then I had to get rid of her and him. And then I just that was it. I just had to get. And I felt much better when I got rid of both of them out of my life. And
good for you, my darling.
So easily.
Good for you. You don't need people like that in your life.
Yeah, and it just so when you were talking earlier, you were saying that some people will copy you. And so you have to be careful how much they're copying you, because it got to the point where she wanted to steal everything from me, including my partner.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm glad they're out of your life now. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Love the show.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, so what you need to do, that toxic people tend not to leave very easily. But like we were saying, you know, you've tried to help them, they don't want help. Okay, now you need to get them out of your life. But they will not leave easily and they will try to make you feel really bad. But you really need to establish boundaries. Now, we're not just talking about friends here, even people at work. For example, the office gossip. If they are constantly coming to you, talking rubbish to you, then you have to politely but firmly say, listen, I'm really sorry, but I really don't think this is constructive, what you're saying about this person. I'd rather not hear it. Now, they may react quite badly to you when you say that, but don't worry, stick with it, because eventually they will back off. But you really do have to set these boundaries, or else these people will walk all over you. And the thing is,
I think that's something the last caller actually identified there, because establishing boundaries is not just sometimes about just saying it. You can say it and the person would not take you seriously. Oh, you know, it's all right, it's just me and you. No. Got rid of the guy, got rid of the girl.
Yeah.
Moved away, start afresh, set boundaries and stick to them. And I think that is something that needs to be, you know, it needs to be firm. When you said something, follow it through. And I think that's most important, because a lot of the time, because I mean, the topic itself is toxic friends. It comes in a friend package. So this is not a stranger that's going to come and...
It's toxic people, actually, but we...
Yeah, all right, well... You know.
Friend, that includes friends.
But at the end of the day, these are people that are close to you in some form. You know, it's not going to be some random stranger. You work with them, you live with them, you know, you come across them in your social circle. So these are people who know something of you enough to know, to kind of want to hook you with something. Yeah. So it's about establishing those boundaries and sticking to them.
Now, the thing with toxic people as well, Excel, they do tend to kind of latch on to people that are quite nice. So maybe you're the type of person that you're very friendly, you feel sorry for people, and you find it hard to kind of say no to people. They will naturally go for these kinds of people because they know they can get away with it. So don't feel bad. You might go for this period where maybe you've cut someone off from your life and then you're there thinking, oh my gosh, did I do the right thing? Was I bad to that person? I feel really guilty. Look, don't worry. It's not worth, you can't stay with people or hang around with people just because you feel guilty or because you feel like you owe them something. If they are bad for you, if they are, you know, causing you to feel uncomfortable and behaving in a way that you don't like, then you have to say, you know what, I don't need this person in my life, and I'm going to get, and I'm not going to feel bad. I'm going to make genuine friends. I'm going to hang around with people that add something to my life. So always, whoever you are with, whether it's at work or friends or even partners, you have to be careful of as well. Just make sure they're actually adding something to your life and boosting you, not putting you down. But we have run out of time, I'm afraid.
Oh no!
Excel, thank you so much for being my standing guest today. She was only meant to be reading the news, the poor thing, and I said, no, you're going to stay on with me to talk about toxic people.
At least it's a topic I know something about, so...
Yeah, she does. But I'm sure you could talk about anything. She could talk for England, this one. She knows everything. You know, one of those type of people that just know everything about anything and they can just talk about...
I've got a big head. I've got a big head. That's why it all goes in.
All right, Excel, thank you so much.
You're very
and thank
welcome.
you guys at home for watching and for your calls as well. And if you want more information about the show, do visit the website, chrissybshow.tv. And if you have an idea for a topic that you would like to see discussed on this program, also do contact me on chris@chrissybshow.tv. It's been lovely spending the last hour with you, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye for now.
One more.
Just the look and the nod just seals it for me.
To be fair, actually, I'm being a bit mean to my husband because he's really good at loading the dishwasher. In fact, he's very competitive about loading the dishwasher. And if I don't do it properly, he gets really cross.
Oh wow, my sister. Okay, can we cut, start
Okay,
again?
let's start again. It's not scripted, you know. Okay,
And they can disassociate the way they're speaking and looking and smiling along with the way they're planning and plotting and thinking at the back, maybe in the way that you're doing. I don't know.